In 1986, the biggest news in the country was at the bottom of a canyon on Highway 395. Every available helicopter was already booked, but I had a secret weapon, a Cessna T-210 with an STOL kit. We didn't just get the first footage, we used the Learjet to beat the satellite feeds to Los Angeles. This is how we got the scoop on the Walker River disaster and the story of the flight that put us on national television. The Walker River Canyon is beautiful, but it's unforgiving. In May of 1986, this high country became the site of a tragedy that stood the world still for a moment. I was in the cockpit of an STOL-equipped Cessna T-210 that day, flying a news crew into the heart of the canyon to document the aftermath of a devastating bus crash. From the air, the scale of it was haunting. Today I'm taking you back to that flight and the scene we found waiting for us below. On May 30th, I was manning the office in UNICOM at the Carson City Airport when a major network news crew walked in asking to charter a helicopter. I checked around for them but came up empty-handed. Every available bird in the area had been snatched up by other news crews. When they asked if there were any other options, I told them, "I've got a Cessna Turbo 210 with the STOL kit. It's the next best thing to a helicopter for this job." They immediately chartered the aircraft to fly to an accident scene just 21 miles north of Bridgeport, California. A charter bus full of senior citizens had failed to negotiate a steep curve, hit a rock wall, and flipped. It landed upside down in 4 to 8 feet of fast-moving icy snowmelt. Of the 40 passengers on board, 21 died, most from drowning rather than the impact itself. I called the line boy to take over the office and started the pre-flight. To help the cameraman, I removed the hinge from the right front passenger window. We took off and headed for the site at almost twice the speed of the helicopters ahead of us. We passed them all and arrived first on the scene at the south end of the narrow Walker River Canyon. I showed the cameraman how to open his window. Once unlatched, the airflow pinned it up against the bottom of the wing, giving him a perfectly unobstructed view. To get the shot, I reduced power, deployed 30 degrees of flaps, and slowed to a stable, low airspeed. I initiated a tight right-hand turn, pivoting directly above the bus while descending as low as I safely could. This gave the cameraman a continuous top-down shot of the wreckage. Once he was satisfied, I pushed to max climb power, tucked the flaps to 10 degrees, and climbed south out of the canyon. We headed back to Carson City at 200 miles per hour. Upon landing, the crew immediately chartered our Learjet to rush the footage to Los Angeles for processing. That evening, I saw that our footage was the first to air on national television. My work wasn't over, though. The next morning, I was called to fly an air ambulance mission in our Cessna 414 to Bridgeport to stand by for survivors. Unfortunately, none were found. Fishermen continued to discover bodies downstream for many days afterward. Flying into a disaster site changes your perspective. It's been 40 years since I banked that Turbo 210 over the wreckage, but the geography of that day is still etched in my mind. It's a part of aviation history that shouldn't be lost to time. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in these accounts from the cockpit and the field, stick around for the next one. I'm Jim, and that's the account of the Walker River disaster.